So I want you to imagine a duel. But this isn't one fought with swords, it's fought with will. It's a choice between two completely different kinds of eternity. A quiet, almost comfortable disappearance, or the violent, beautiful affirmation of a life lived completely. Today, we are diving deep into a philosophical story that is all about this very choice.
Okay, so our story plays out between two worlds that could not be more different. First, you got the Abbey of Safety, a place that's literally designed to muffle the very first scream of existence. And then there's this vast, silent desert, a place of total, crushing solitude and confrontation. Each one represents a fundamental choice about how to exist.
And this is where you really see the core conflict, right? The Abbey, it follows what's called the logic of zero. It promises an escape from all pain, offering this, profound peace of non-being. But the desert, that represents the logic of one. It's a path that doesn't run from suffering. It takes ownership of it, seeking this beautiful, even if it's violent, affirmation of life itself.
Now let's dig into the Abbey a little more. Abbey of Safety? It sounds pretty inviting, doesn't it? But the way the text describes it, it's actually a place of deep spiritual rot, designed to quiet the very will to live.
You see, the Abbey is an architecture of stagnation. It preserves what it calls a hollow life, where the lightning strike of a true, raw experience is traded for a dim, safe lamp glow. It offers the total absence of self as the ultimate solution to pain, making sure nothing is ever allowed to truly grow. It is, for all intents and purposes, a beautiful prison for the soul.
But our story, well, it follows this lone wanderer who completely rejects this gilded cage. And out there, in the searing silence of the desert, they're met by a tempter, the uncanny jester, this figure who kind of embodies this mocking, cynical nothingness.
The jester, sitting there like a gargoyle, sees all of life's struggles as just meaningless. The wanderer's drive, his will to keep going, is just dismissed as a chemical scream, nothing more than a brief, pointless bit of static against an eternal, uncaring silence.
So the jester's offer is this really cruel but profound test called the parable of the hourglass. I want you to imagine holding your entire life in your hands. You can choose to live it all over again. But here's the catch. You can't change a single thing. Every triumph, every single regret, every moment of pain repeated in the exact same agonizing tension forever.
So yeah, the jester is making a bet. He truly believes that confronting the full, unedited truth of your own life, what he calls the blight of revelation, is a burden just too heavy for anyone to bear. He's betting that the wanderer will absolutely break and just beg for the sweet relief of nothingness, for the grace of the abyss.
But the wanderer's trials are nowhere near over. As the jester's laughter fades into the desert air, a second figure emerges from the deep indigo shadows, the Red Spectre. And he brings a totally different kind of temptation, the cold, rational argument for just giving up.
You see, if the jester used mockery, the specter uses logic. He doesn't taunt, he interrogates. He challenges the wanderer to face what's called the Pharisee's paradox, but this time to find it deep within their own soul.
And this is the specter's core question. How can you really claim to love your fate, what philosophers call amor fati, if deep down you secretly wish you could just erase your worst moments? Is it a lie to embrace your life if you can't also embrace the dross of vanity and the terminal sickness of your deepest, most painful regrets?
And yet the wanderer doesn't flinch, not for a second. They don't ask for an escape hatch or for forgiveness. They stand absolutely firm against this sovereignty of silence, accepting full, total responsibility for every mistake, for every single static disturbance they have ever caused.
And so, with the ebony clock of the Abbey just echoing faintly in the distance, the wanderer is brought to the ultimate choice, a choice between two completely different forms of eternity.
So here it is, the choice is laid bare. Annihilation, that profound peace of non-being that the specter and the jester are offering, or repetition, the agonizing tension of your own life, with all of its flaws, every single one of them, repeated forever.
The wanderer looks into that fractured mirror of the hourglass, seeing every single joy and every single failure reflected right back at them. And in that one moment, they reject the path of erasure.
But listen, this isn't just some passive acceptance. No, the wanderer declares a yes, an active, powerful, sovereign affirmation of every single moment.
It's a cry that rings so much louder than the gesture's meaningless chemical scream, turning a supposed weakness into a profound, undeniable strength.
In this single act, the Wanderer pulls off what the text calls a transvaluation of values. The goal is no longer to surrender to the void, to follow that logic of zero. Instead, they embrace the original catastrophe of their own existence, and they turn it into a powerful logic of one, a life that is entirely self-created.
So, what is the true weight of this profound choice? What does this all really mean? Let's break down the layers of the Wanderer's incredible decision.
What the Wanderer's path is all about is radical responsibility. There's no external judge who's going to grant you a pardon. There's no way to escape the consequences of your own history. Salvation isn't found by appealing to something outside of yourself. It has to come from within.
And here we see the 3 pillars of that internal salvation. First, you own the past. All of it. The good, the bad, the ugly. Second, you reject escape. You choose to remain who you are, suffering and all. And third, you actively affirm that life, transforming the heavy burden of memory into a testament of pure dignity.
Just look at the contrast here. The jester's path offers relief, but it's through erasure. Its meaning is found in the absence of pain. The Wanderer's path, though, offers dignity through ownership. Meaning isn't found by escaping pain, but in having the courage to face it again and again and again.
In the end, this is what the Wanderer discovers. True grace isn't some gift of forgiveness from the void. It's not a surrender. It's something you have to forge yourself, out there in the desert, by staring into the fractured mirror of your own life and choosing to live it again.
And that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? It turns the parable right back on ourselves. If you held the full, unchangeable weight of your own existence in your hands every single moment, would you have the courage to say yes? Would you turn the hourglass?